Another attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Irada, willpower, free will. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the willpower to choose what He wants to do. He's not forced, He's not coerced. He has willpower. Why is this even discussed? Has anyone negated the willpower of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Yes. There have been some philosophers historically who have objected to willpower, and they've said God doesn't really have willpower. What's their reasoning? What? No, the Mu'tazilas do believe in God's free will. We have other types of philosophers who've negated that. So those philosophers, what is their argument? Their argument is that God, just to get this idea closer, is like fire. When fire burns, does fire have the free will to burn? Or it's coerced to burn? Which is it? Fire is the cause of burning. It's the cause of heat, right? You have a cause and an effect. Fire is the cause of heat. It's the cause of burning. When fire burns something, does it do so out of its free will and willpower? Or that's just its nature? It's pretty much forced to do it. It's its nature to do it, right? It's not like fire chooses to burn. That's the nature of fire. Some philosophers have applied this idea to God. Their claim is that God is the cause of all causes. He's the ultimate cause, the first cause. Now, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the first cause, and one of the qualities of God is to create, to overflow with blessings. In Arabic, they call it fayyad. Fayyad. Fayyad in Arabic is to overflow with generosity. God is generous. Hence, since the beginning of time, eternally if you go back in time, God was always overflowing with blessings on His creation. Hence, since the beginning of time, God was constantly creating. Because that's the nature of God. The nature of God is to overflow with blessings and to create and to share His generosity. Just like fire, the nature of fire is to burn. The nature of God is to exude goodness. It's to exude generosity, to overflow with creation. Hence, since the beginning of time, eternally go in the past, God was always creating. And He did not do so out of His free will. That's the nature of God. It has to be that way. It's not that He made a decision, okay, I'm going to create. No. Eternally, He was always creating. He was always sustaining. He was always overflowing with generosity. So God does not really have willpower. Just like fire has no willpower. It's the nature of God to overflow with blessings. This is their argument. So in reality, God has no irada. God has no willpower. It has to be that way. God could not have not created. He had to create. He was coerced to create, to put it in another way. Some philosophers have said this, even some Muslim philosophers. They have posed this claim. Do you accept this claim or no? Do you accept this claim? No. Why not?
It shows God is helpless.
Right, that's a deficiency in God. When it's your nature to do something and you can't control it, that's a deficiency. I, the weak human being, me, the little human being, I have free will. I could do or not do. God, the one who created me, doesn't have free will? That's preposterous. Then I have something God doesn't have. I have an attribute which my Creator doesn't have. Is that possible? Absolutely not. So we reject that. We say that this is preposterous. God has the free will. In fact, there was a point in time, even before the creation of time, when you had only the essence of God and nothing else. There was no creation. And we have many hadiths about that. كان الله ولم يكن معه شيء. God was there and there was nothing with God. Then He decided to create. And God did not have to create. God, out of His compassion, He decided to create His creations. But God, had He not created this whole universe, would that be a deficiency in God? No, it's not a deficiency. God does not need anything. He doesn't need to prove anything. So if God had not decided to create, that's not a deficiency in God. That's His willpower. He could create, He cannot create. He doesn't have to create. Yes, He wanted to show us compassion and mercy, and that's why He created us. إِلَّا رَحْمَةً مِّن رَبِّكَ وَلِذَلِكَ خَلَقَهُمْ. Allah in the Quran says the reason why He created this creation is to show mercy to this creation. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not have to create. If He didn't want to create, He doesn't want to. There's no deficiency. There is nothing that imposes on God to create. It's absolutely up to Him. He wanted to exercise that power. He wants not to exercise that power. That's completely up to Him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does have willpower. Now having said that, and there are many verses in the Quran that clearly demonstrate Allah does choose. It's not like He's like fire, that's His nature, He has no control over it. One verse in the Holy Quran states, وَرَبُّكَ يَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيَخْتَارُ. And your Lord creates what He desires, what He wants, وَيَخْتَارُ, and He chooses. You want a clearer verse than that? وَيَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. And Allah does as He pleases. Is that how you describe fire? Does fire do as it pleases? Of course not. Fire has no control over itself. It does not choose. But the Quran is very clear that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does what He wants. That means He has willpower. He has free will. He decides. He is in control. It's not something that's imposed on Him. So there is no doubt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has absolute willpower. Yes. Yes, there are many, many verses in the Quran that clearly state Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides and chooses many, many things. Another verse in the Holy Quran, in addition to the one that you mentioned, it mentions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses to give children to some, and some He makes infertile. They cannot have any children. Allah chooses. So we see this active willpower that is exercised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's preposterous to say that God has no willpower. It's just His nature and He can't control it. That is a false claim. But many, many philosophers throughout history have fallen into this trap, and they've actually believed that. Or their beliefs amount to saying that God has no control. A lot of the ideas that they come forward with, they result in such a belief. So we reject that, and the Quran is very clear about that.